This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website. Hi, I'm Kay Choi. Welcome back to my channel. As you may know, I moved to New York about a month ago into this new apartment. If you haven't seen my apartment tour video, I'll link that in the description box so you can get a look at my space. In this video, I want to share about my apartment hunting experience and give some tips as well as show you some of the other units that we looked at with pricing as well. The interesting thing for me is that I personally didn't look at the apartments in person during this whole process, but that's because my husband was in New York, and so he was the one who came and toured the different apartments, showed me videos, and we decided based on that. So the 5 parts I'm going to walk through in this video are when to start looking at apartments, where to look for apartments, deciphering the rent prices, especially with the pandemic right now. There are lots of different rent deals and things like that, so I'll talk about that in more detail, preparing your paperwork and money, and finally I'll show you some of the apartments that we looked at with the neighborhoods and rent prices included. Before we jump in, if you want to see more videos about living and working in New York, then please hit the subscribe button down below, and while you're there, hit the notification bell too, and I would really appreciate it. So when should you start actually looking at apartments? I think we all know and have heard that New York rentals and real estate just goes really fast, and I've heard that listings can be posted in the morning and taken that same afternoon. With COVID-19 and the record number of vacant apartments in New York right now, it's obviously a little bit slower, but still all the good apartments are going to be taken up faster than others. So I would say that in general, maybe about 2 to 3 months before you would be moving would be a good time to just start browsing apartments and seeing what's out there. This is more so to get familiar with the whole landscape and see what your budget is, what you can get for the budget in what neighborhood, and so that way when you are actively hunting, you can tell what a good deal is and what isn't. At this point, you don't want to get attached to any one single unit because chances are it could get taken up, especially if it is a desirable unit, which is why you're probably looking at it. However, you can keep certain buildings in mind, and that way you can track those buildings and see if maybe the unit you wanted got taken, maybe there's another unit that opened up in the same building. When it comes to actually looking at apartments and making inquiries, I would say to have a flexible move-in date with a range of about 2 weeks. Then based on your desired move-in date, I would actually look at the apartments 1 to 2 weeks before. This depends because some apartments are available immediately and they'll give it to whoever can rent it first, but other ones show a lease start date on the listing. So just to recap for us, we were looking at apartments on October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, around that range, for a lease starting between October 15th to 31st, and we actually ended up starting a lease on October 27th. And that's because the unit allowed us to pick the date and they didn't push us to start it any earlier, probably because there wasn't the demand for anyone else to rent it earlier than us. So I think this might be somewhat of a unique circumstance because of the pandemic and the low demand of apartments. I think before the pandemic, a lot of people end up signing leases to start like the next day or the next week. So it's just a little bit slower. In terms of where to actually look for and hunt for apartments, I primarily used StreetEasy, which I think is the general preferred method for most people looking for apartments in New York. There's both a web browser and an app version, and basically you can filter all of your different requirements or things you're looking for in the apartment. So your budget, or whether you want laundry in your building or a gym. When you look at your listings, you can see what the closest transportation is, so the closest subway stop. And I personally like to use the map view so that I can focus on a certain area or location, because I don't want to like see an apartment that I like and then realize that it's in like some really far off location that I wouldn't want to live in. I also learned that not all listings are created equally, so some of them have just stock photos or they have more photos of the neighborhood than the building itself. Some of them don't even have a floor plan, so it makes it really difficult to even know how big the apartment is. And the ones that are really good have photos of all the different rooms in all different angles with good lighting, a floor plan, and a video of the apartment, or at least a virtual tour so you can get a sense of how big the space is. So basically for about 3 months, I was just constantly on the StreetEasy app, refreshing, seeing what listings there were, and and just getting a sense of what we could get with our budget. Okay, so now the rent prices. Every few weeks or so, the rent prices of different units would drop, and that's because there were a lot of people and still are a lot of people leaving New York and leaving apartments vacant. Because of that, lots of buildings are offering 2 to 3 months free on the lease, and so the rent price you see might not be 100% accurate to what you'll be paying. Sometimes the rent price you'll see on the listing will be the net rent price, and that's the average price you're paying per month on the lease with the 2 or 3 months free that the building is giving you. You'll want to look at this carefully and be mindful of that, because that means although you're not paying rent, you're paying $0 for the first couple of months, you're then paying a higher number than is advertised as the net rent. Other listings will show the gross rent price as the main advertised rent, and then they'll show the net rent below it or in the description. Because of that, I would suggest you raise your budget filter to be a little bit higher, because that way you're including any potential apartments that have a higher gross rent but would be on average within your budget based on the free months that you would get on the lease. So continuing on the subject of money, it is very expensive to rent an apartment and to sign an apartment in New York. So we paid the first month's rent, which was about $3,900, and this is based on the gross monthly rent of the apartment, not the net one. Security deposit, which is the same amount as a month of rent, and we also paid for our application fee, which was $16 per person. We didn't have to pay a broker's fee, which is kind of like a finder's fee for the apartment, and I have actually noticed that lots of apartments and listings I looked at did not have a broker's fee, and you'll usually see that in the listing where it just says no fee in the title of the listing. But if you do end up having to pay a broker's fee, that could be another couple $1,000s to the expenses of signing your apartment. We also had to have a $500 check when we moved in, and this wasn't for them to actually cash, but just to hold on to in case we damaged anything as we were moving in our furniture into the building. So we just had to write them that check and have them hold on to it until we were done moving in, and then we got it back at the end of the day. You'll also want to look out for hidden amenity fees, because some of these buildings will list that they have a gym and a pool and all these other things, but then you'll discover that you actually have to pay extra for those amenities. So when we were looking at this apartment and we're getting all the information before we were committing and signing, we were told that the amenities were like $250 per person per year. So that was another $500 that we weren't aware of. But all we did was ask and see if we could get that waived, and they agreed to waive it minus $5 per person. So we ended up saving like $490 just by asking. I think especially right now where the renter has the power and the advantage, you have the ability to ask those types of things and see what types of extra fees can be waived, and you never know, you can save a lot of money that way. So it's not just a lot of money that you need to sign your apartment, but you also need a lot of paperwork. I listed them here on my phone so I wouldn't forget, and this differs probably a little bit from building to building, but in general, you'll need the last 2 years of your tax returns, last 2 years of W-2 forms, 2 most recent bank statements, a form of ID, or maybe 2 to be safe, a letter from your previous landlord just saying that you are a good tenant, you paid for your rent on time and all of that, and a letter or proof from your employer of your yearly salary. And sometimes they can accept like a PDF of whatever your portal might be that shows what your salary is. So each of us had to separately prepare all of those documents and get them ready. And what we ended up doing was creating like 3 huge packets of all of these forms. And while my husband was looking at apartments, he kept them with him just so he could be ready to hand over our information if there was an apartment that he just knew or we just knew we wanted to get right away. We ended up not having to use that, and all the documents were submitted digitally in a form that the building provided for us when we decided to sign. So you probably don't need to print everything out, but I think it's still nice to just have a backup just in case. Okay, so now let's talk about actually viewing the apartments, and I'll talk to you about some of the other listings that we looked at. Through the StreetEasy Act, you can actually contact the leasing manager or whoever it is to see the apartment. Some of them also offer virtual tours, and I did try to book some virtual tours while I was in LA and looking at New York apartments, but I actually didn't have any success with those in terms of scheduling or anything like that. I did get some people to send me videos of the apartments, and so if you're in a a situation where you can't go and look at the apartment directly, you could always ask to see a video and see what you get. But of course, the best bet is to go in person so that you can see the space for yourself and ask lots of questions. Again, my husband was the one who came to look at the apartment, so about a week before he was due to arrive in New York, he scheduled and lined up a bunch of different apartment viewings, like 5 to 10 apartments to view within a span of about 3 days. All of the viewings were of course socially distant with everyone wearing masks, and some of them also even had an option where you could just pick up a key and look at the building or the unit yourself. As I said before, our budget was $3,000 to $3,200. We were really focusing on luxury apartments that would have an in-unit washer dryer, a gym, and a doorman. We just knew that those were amenities that we wanted to have and were willing to pay a little bit more for. And we were looking outside of Manhattan, so in Brooklyn and Queens. So with all those different apartment filters set, let's take a look at some of the other units that we considered.
First up is 50 North 5th, which is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. This one had a $34.25 gross rent with 2 months free, making it $29.36 net. This one was our runner-up apartment, and you can tell that the layout is very similar to our current apartment. However, it was a little bit small, and knowing that we have to fit 2 desks in our living room, it just wasn't going to work. The finishes you can see in the kitchen and the bathroom overall were just a bit older in general, and knowing that we're going to spend a lot of time at home, especially right now during the pandemic, we just wanted something a little bit refreshed. This building did have a nice rooftop and courtyard with lots of greenery, which was another reason that we really liked this place, and thinking about being able to spend that time outside within the apartment. But it was honestly really hard to pick because this had such a great location, but ultimately we went with what we thought was a better deal than this one. This next one is called 2 Blue Slip, and it's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and it had a gross rent of $34.50 and a net rent of $29.33. This one was right by the water, so you get that beautiful view of the Manhattan skyline, but location-wise, it was also a bit away from the trains, so kind of inaccessible. This one's super fancy, had a nice parking garage for the residents, and you can see the amazing views from the staged apartment here. However, the actual unit that was available didn't face that same view. In fact, it faced another building that was under construction, which is why the apartment had such a good deal for the net rent. The finishes here were of course brand new and super nice, but as you can see, the space was a little small because there wasn't that separation between the kitchen and the living room, and the inaccessibility of the location were also negatives for us. The next one here is called 2 Northside Piers, and it's in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and had a rent of $34.95 a month with no extra concessions or anything free. Like the previous one, this one was also right next to the water, which gives it those great views, but it was in Williamsburg, which is a little bit more in demand than Greenpoint, and that's why I think it's a little bit more expensive. This is an example of viewing an apartment that somebody is currently living in, because all the previous ones you've seen so far were either vacant apartments or staged apartments that are just for the purposes of viewing. All of the apartments we saw had gyms and laundry and all the same amenities, but this one also had a hot tub and a swimming pool that looked into the city, but it's obviously closed right now because of COVID, so it's not shown here. And of course, this one was outside of our budget anyway, so we didn't end up here. Next up is 250 North 10th in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which had a gross rent of $35.70 and net rent of $29.75. This one was located near McCarran Park in Williamsburg, which is a great place for dog owners and to exercise. And while the location was nice, the space itself was a little bit small. And again, we knew we needed a lot of space since both of us are currently working from home, and I'm actually permanently remote anyways, so we're always going to have somebody who's working from home in the living room. There wasn't really anything wrong with this one, but the amenities weren't the best or the newest, and the space was just too small for us. And the last one we'll look at here is 1 LIC in Long Island City, Queens, and this one had a gross rent of $27.66. This was a much cheaper option, but the views were not that great because they just faced more buildings, and the units here definitely did have more space than some of the Williamsburg apartments, but again, the views were just covered by more high-rise buildings and would block out the sunlight. And again, knowing that we're going to be home, we wanted to be in a place that had lots of light and could uplift our mood and all of that. The best thing about this apartment was that the gym was at the top floor, which gave it an open feeling and a view of the skyline. Before we wrap up the video, let's take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. I've been partnering with Squarespace for a while now, and I use them for my personal website and blog by kchoi.com. If you haven't seen my website yet, then please go check it out. I recently posted a gift guide post, which I know is late by the time you see this, but hopefully it's still useful for birthdays and other occasions. Squarespace not only has beautiful and intuitive templates, but also has powerful analytics tools, blogging tools like post scheduling, and other cool features like donation collections and helpful extensions for people with online stores. So if you're looking to start a website, I highly recommend starting with Squarespace. It's so easy to use and your website is just going to look great guaranteed. You can head to squarespace.com/kchoi for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your page, use the code KCHOI to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and now let's wrap it up.
That's it for this video. I know it was a long one, but I hope it was helpful for anybody who is looking to rent in New York, especially right now during the pandemic. Moving during a pandemic, of course, isn't ideal and isn't the right decision for everybody, but if that is what you're doing, I hope you found some of these tips valuable. Let me know if you're interested in seeing apartments or units in other specific neighborhoods, and we'll see if we can make a series out of this and tour other apartments throughout New York. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy out there, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!